Hey, Terry Troyer, station coordinator, right here at 91.1 WHFC. We'd like you to join us for our spring membership drive, March 6th through the 13th. You can join us by pledging. Pledge what you can. We really appreciate every dollar that you give us because it goes right back into our student learning lab, and that's where we train all of our future broadcasters here at 91.1 WHFC. Pledge right now. Again, the spring membership drive, March 6th through the 13th. WHFC911.org is where you want to go. And thanks for your help.
Coming to you from the Freedom Federal Credit Union Studios, Harford County Living presents Conversations with Rich Bennett.
Slow pitch
It's probably the least sexy part of work. No. The truth is,
most people don't feel well, and no one can tell them why. They've tried the diets, the supplements, the prescriptions, and the quick fixes. Yet they're still tired, inflamed, stressed, or stuck managing symptoms instead of actually getting better. And my guest today decided that wasn't good enough. Reed Davis is a double board certified holistic health practitioner and certified nutritional therapist who spent decades asking a different question. What's really going on underneath the symptoms? After helping over 10,000 clients and training more than 4,000 practitioners in 50 countries, Reed developed a system that stops chasing symptoms and starts rebuilding health from the inside out. He's the founder of Functional Diagnostic Nutrition and the creator of the Dress for Health Success Guidebook, a practical framework built on 5 core habits that restore function and help people finally get well and stay well. So if you've ever felt like your body is trying to tell you something and no one is listening, this conversation is for you. So first of all, Reed, welcome. I've been looking forward to this because when it comes to health, people got to get on the bandwagon.
We're all seeking. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I got to ask you this, though, because you started your career as an environmental paralegal, right?
Yes. Yeah. I was saving the whole planet at one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the moment you realized you needed to turn the lens inward and ask, what is the environment doing to people, especially me?
You know, what happened was a good friend of mine's dad, who I was very close to, dropped dead. And everyone said, oh, he was perfectly healthy. What happened? And I just knew instinctively he wasn't perfectly healthy. Perfectly healthy people don't drop dead. It was a heart attack, kind of a thing, like all of a sudden he just died. No, there was something wrong. And since I had seen millions of dead fish and dead birds and poor air and water and, you're saving the whole planet. And I just thought something's wrong with this picture. And back in the 90s, I was in my 40s. I'm well over 70 years old now. And
you look good.
Well, thank you, sir. I was, I'd like to say I work hard on it. I just work on it, not that hard. But some of it's genetics and stuff. But I can talk to you about anything you want to talk about in that health. Because what happened again at the same time that this gentleman who I was very close to, he passed away, and I was also taking my son into a wellness center. Chiropractic wellness center, mostly. And there was other things. This is back in the late 90s. He was a high school athlete, and I just wanted to keep him tuned up. And anything, he played football, and he got 7 varsity letters in 4 different sports.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I was taking him into the center, and I liked working with those doctors in there, and I liked the way they talked, and so. My son got the 7 varsity letters in 4 sports, but I got a new career because I quit my other job and I went right to work like the next day for these folks. I said, I just have to be in this business. I don't want to work with dead fish and birds, people. And I didn't know much, Rich. I'd never even been to a doctor before except for sports injuries. Never,
Really?
Yeah, I never had nothing going on. I just wanted to help people, and I didn't want to fall victim myself. I didn't want anything sneaking up on me.
Right.
And so I said, "Hey, I'm a good businessman. I can help you grow your business. Hire me and we'll figure something out." And they did. And within a few short weeks, I was running the whole place.
Wow.
And this was better at some of the things around business and organization than they were. But at the same time, I was studying anatomy, physiology, biochemistry, working with the doctors there. And the owner said to me, I hadn't been there more than a few weeks. And she said she was going to go get her diplomat in nutrition. She was a doctor getting a special dip. She said, if you want to go with me to these classes, because you seem interested, you can work on the patients in between your classes. Now, that was an opportunity. It's like God sent me this.
Jump on it.
And so I jumped on that. Now, I also interviewed every person coming in the door, started kind of triaging. And the biggest complaint people had back then, this is over 25 years ago, was I've already been to 3 or 9 or 12 practitioners, and they can't figure out what's wrong with me.
Haven't been to the right one.
What I learned was most of them weren't looking for what's really wrong with them. Because that's kind of how standard medicine was working at the time.
Right.
And we were straight up alternative. They weren't really calling it complementary or integrative, or nowadays you have functional medicine. So it was alternative or straight up standard doctoring. And I wasn't one of those, didn't want to be. And so the assignment that I had was find out what's really wrong with these people. As you said in your introduction, that was my job. And the doctors there laughed at me. We can diagnose and treat. You can't. You're not a doctor. So you have to find out if you're going to help them. And remember, a lot of them had been to 10 doctors already. And weren't better. And I thought, well, that's a ripoff. But the other thing I thought was, this is so insane. I said, I'm going to be the last person they need to see.
Oh, I love that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, I had a lot to learn, but nothing to unlearn. And this is, again, God's gift to me was they let me run lab work there, like all the alternative saliva testing, urine testing, stool testing, and blood work. I learned that too. But I spent 10 years there, and I'll conclude with I spent 10 years there running thousands of labs on thousands of people. That's what I did. And I recognized some patterns, including you mentioned the dress pattern. There's other patterns that I recognize that started actually helping people. It started actually outperforming wherever they'd been before. And again, remember, my mission was I'll be the last guy. I didn't want to be number 9 out of 15 that I had to see to get better. I wanted to be the guy. And I knew that I could do very well for myself if I could do, and it took me a long time to figure out, when you don't know what you're doing, I just figured just do more of it. And something sort of and that's what I ran labs, made my own observations along with some good coaching. I had some good mentors, but I did so much of it that I made these pattern recognition and started following that. And I could tell you all about it, but that's what I did for 10 years before I ever taught my first class.
Before you ever taught your first class?
Yeah. So
wow.
So 10 years is what if I could continue just for a second.
Yeah.
A lab called me at one of the labs that I was using. They were in San Diego, and our office was in San Diego. And I used to go down there every weekend, and every chance I got to talk to the doctors down there and the scientists, the researchers at the lab. So I learned a lot of what I know from the lab guys.
Okay.
They were actually creating new types of labs. Now we call them functional labs. They were just alternative stuff back then. So one of the lab directors called me up after 10 years and said, "Who the hell are you?" I go, "I'm Reed. You know me." He goes, "No." He goes, "I'm asking, who the hell are you that you run so many labs?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. I just like doing it." He goes, "No." He goes, "You run more labs than our best 5 customers combined. These doctors, other doctors
Wow.
were learning to do." And he said, "So whatever you're doing, you should be teaching it." And I thought, I'm not a teacher. I'm just doing this for our office, for my practice and for our office. I just wanted to be successful, like
Right. You wanted to learn. You wanted to learn as much as you can.
and get results for the client.
Yeah.
Again, that I wanted to be the last guy. And so there's other doctors and we worked together on some patients and stuff. But he said, "You should be teaching because you're just really like the most experienced guy we have." And I'm not even a doctor, which was the weird part. And they ended up actually hiring me to teach other doctors their other clients.
Wow.
And so at the same time, I started this little course because everyone started saying you should be teaching other practitioners. And so in 2008, that's a long time ago, I taught my first class. So when I said before I taught my first class, I spent 10 years in a clinic running thousands of them. So that's where this all came from. And it's been my, a blessing. Like, I just can't even tell you, like, I don't know how I ended up doing this, but I love doing it to this day.
And that's with FDN where that all started, right?
Yeah, I called it FDN because the first class, I had to call it something.
Yeah.
And because I was a nutritionist, personal trainer, body worker, lab. I was a kind of the health director of this clinic, but I didn't have, I wasn't a doctor. I got a lot of other credentials now. I even became a doctor in nutrition eventually, but I just called it Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. It sounded cool at the time.
Yeah.
And now I'm stuck with it because I cited a bunch of people for this course. It was a class and a workshop and stuff, and the name just stuck. And the people who took my first class, it wouldn't go away. They just like, well, tell us. I taught them. Here's the labs I run, and here's the protocols. And when people follow your protocols, they just get better. It's just that's how it works. Run the labs, follow the dress program, which you said you and your wife were impressed with, and then it's got to be directed by the labs. But the dress protocol then works as you learn to coach people up to do it. So we never say, oh, here's your lab test results. Take this for 3 months and come back and we'll retest you. We run multiple labs, a lot of healing opportunities, what's really wrong, and then work together with you for that 3 months. Like coach, okay, because they want guidance, they want feedback. No one wants to be told, take this for 3 months and come back.
Right.
That's treating the paper.
Yeah.
So you probably know something about that, right?
Oh yeah, especially being in the military.
Yeah.
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 You take this and that's it. You don't get choices.
Exactly. Yeah. Which just burns me up. That's why I love talking to people like you and chiropractors and people that look at the holistic approach and all these different things. Because let's face it, when and I'll never forget this, and this is how I fell into finding out about chiropractic care. I knew about it, but I was always afraid of trying it out. And my one doctor would never recommend it. And I had an appointment because I had bone spurs in the front of my neck and the back of my neck. And it was pinching them nerves. And when I went in to see him, he wasn't in. So I saw a younger doctor. Well, that younger doctor recommended a chiropractor.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh, my God. It was life-changing.
Huh.
It was life-changing. Because the thing is, well, I could sit there and take Motrin or whatever all day long, but it's not fixing the problem.
Yeah.
It's tearing my stomach apart more than anything.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that problem with the neck. In the office, we actually called that military neck.
I can understand why.
Yeah, it's very common among the military to have. You lose the curvature of your neck there, and you need that, and so you have a lot of pain. Basically, people come in, you go for pain. Something hurts, and the medical doctor isn't trained the same way to look at the problem the same way. They're trained to get you out of pain, which is great, and you can get all the pills, pain pills and massage and all kinds of things. But chiropractors are trained especially to look at that curvature of the spine and things and help you get back to normal.
Oh, it's amazing. My arthritis is better. I'm not getting headaches like I used to.
Yeah.
It's just Reed, and I'm not lying. Well, I told you how the weight I lost, but it felt good to be able to look down and see my toes again. And to top it off, to be able to not just see them, but to be able to bend all the way down, almost like a complete U, and touch them, almost with my head.
That's amazing. From where you were to where you ended up, that's good for you. You worked.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's what I said when I saw this, and with the stuff that you're doing, it's like I definitely have to talk to him, because if I'm learning, then I know my listeners are learning, and that's the important thing. But before I get to dress, there was something else, and I love acronyms.
Me too.
So what is it? The HIDDE.
Yeah. That's the lab work. So
hidden system.
Lab work is what you look for. So remember now, I was the guy, the odd man out, always could only look for underlying causes and conditions. I couldn't diagnose. That takes a license. And plus, no one coming in our office wanted another diagnosis. They're sick of diagnosis and diagnosis this and diagnosis that and treatment, these pills and those pills and whatever else. So they're frustrated. And so it was a blessing that I couldn't diagnose. I had to run labs. Now, it took me some time, years, to learn which labs.
Right.
And I'll tell you about that. And it answers the question about the acronym. The acronym's HIDDEN, hormone, immune, digestion, detoxification, the main ones, then energy production and nervous system balance. Those are the assessments that we do on every person. And it took me a while to recognize that pattern and to put it in an order that was easy to remember. You try arranging those letters in any other way. And anyways, so you get this hidden, and there's other things you could test for, oxidative stress. There's other stuff.
Right.
But the people coming in our office were the sick and tired of being sick and tired people. And they didn't want to just take pills.
Right.
They're actually willing to do some work. It takes some effort now. So I learned to look for hormone immune, and I learned the labs to use and the sequence. I could show you on paper the downward spiral that people were in by their lab results. The adrenal, the hormone, the immune system. It's like dominoes that fall. As you get sicker and sicker and weaker, you can trace that quite easily with lab work, which, by the way, I was sending home test kits with people to do it at home. And I learned.
Really?
Yeah, I would go lecture at libraries and talk about what I do at the office, and people would want to do this lab work. And so I would just ship them some at-home test kits. And that way I could do distance coaching. So I was lecturing so far away from the office, like I'd drive 80, 90 miles to give a lecture.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't want to drive 80, 90 miles to see me in the office.
Right.
So I developed a system of, well, we'll send you the kits. You can put your saliva, urine, stool in there, even blood, because you can finger prick and drip it on a blotter, and we reconstitute that in the lab. So there was ways for people to do this and take control. So now they're, actually in control. And that's what I wanted was, look, don't put your health in anyone else's hands.
Yeah.
There's a way to look at what's going on with you, underlying causes and conditions. We're going to get data from your bodily fluids, basically, and we could even do from hair. Not that I have any. Yeah, hair tissue mineral analysis.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you, Reed.
we got the same barber. So it was really convenient. This HIDDE, again, years in the making, but became a reliable, repeatable testing system to find out what's really wrong with most people for most stuff that's bothering them. And again, you're talking about all the people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired and going to this person and that person, and no one's helping them. So that's who this is for, and that's the system that created it. Now, the other thing I noticed, to get to your other acronym, people were coming in our office. I realized this a long time before I'd even developed the whole thing. I'd say, Mrs. Smith, I see you're coming in the office 3 times a week, and you're getting your chiropractic and your massage, and we had other therapies and stuff, all kinds of things. And I would say, how's that working for you? Oh, it's okay. I think I'm hopeful. I think it's doing better. And I said, okay, well, that's good, but what are you doing at home? Oh, what do you mean? Well, I just, and these are people who are busy working a job or 2 or raising kids and working it. And so,
right.
So, I started really trying to dial in how they needed to live, not just coming in the office and selling them stuff, and we did well, but I was just more concerned with how they didn't have to come in the office. Well, what if you'd never had to come in the office and you're all fixed? What a concept. And most doctors would hate that because their patients would all disappear.
Yeah.
I would love that because I'm an educator. I wanted to help. I thought, boy, if you never have to see another doctor, that'd be great. And you'd be self-care, caring for yourself, not depending on other people, which is, freedom is everything. And so, yeah. So I developed the DRESS program, and that's DRESS. It stands for diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, and supplementation. Now, again, this didn't happen. I didn't dream it up. It didn't occur to me one weekend or by some divine intervention. It was just long period of working with people, figuring out those things they need. And then I just happened to creatively put it into that acronym. There's not even any real order to it, but it spells DRESS. So you can start with DRESS. Makes it easy to remember. And when I'm teaching it now, I teach it in that order. So I teach how to find out the hidden stressors and contributors to what I call metabolic chaos. So there's you've got metabolic chaos. You all this stuff, tired, fatigued, and overweight, and can't lose weight. You can't build muscle. You're not sleeping well. Sex life ain't great. You're losing your hair. Hey, what's wrong with that? I say, but you know what I mean. So for some people,
all this beautiful, man.
Hey, well, you know what we say about the number of beautiful heads in the world.
What's that?
Well, God only made so many perfect heads, and the rest He put hair on.
Oh, I've never heard that, but I love that, and I'm going to use it all the time now.
Yeah. So that's the old joke. But the point is that people have all these complaints, and they don't just want to take pills. They're willing to take responsibility, and we can work with them. If you'll look at the right data, the labs, and then follow the right lab-driven protocol, DRESS, then you will live yourself out of this stuff you've lived yourself into. you told me before you were kind of pre-diabetic and
Right.
overweight, and and how'd you get out of it? Lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
That's how you get out of it. We're not talking like if you get victim of a drive-by shooting, you're not going to call an FDN practitioner.
Right.
Like if you get off a plane from West Africa and you've been exposed to Ebola virus, your temperature's 105. Your temperature's 105. You're bleeding from your eyeballs. Don't call your nutritionist.
No.
Go get the urgent necessary. And we're great at this. Country has the best doctors on the planet.
Mhm.
And this is where everyone comes to train to go back to their country. We hope that they go back and do a good job in their country. So we're the best at both now. We've got the urgent, acute, and that kind of care, heroic care. Because if your life's going away, you need to go see a doctor. If the downward spiral is very compressed, you got to see a doctor or you're going to die. But if there's time to heal, that's where we come in. So what I was getting at was the problems that we help people solve are the ones that took a long time to develop, and that might take you some time to get out of it, but you can be in complete control, all natural, no drugs, no surgery.
Now, is what you're doing strictly in person, or can people actually contact you virtually no matter where they're at in the country?
Well, yeah, I alluded to that when there was no distance coaching, we call it,
right,
25 years ago. We were kind of on the cutting edge of that. There was no telemedicine because it was illegal.
Yeah,
you didn't, and that lasted a long. So now there's a little bit more of these things. I can tell you why it's developed the way it has, but when I started lecturing far away from the office and realized they weren't going to come in, even no matter how much it sounded like something they wanted to do, I learned to send them the kits. They take the samples at home. They mail the kit, their specimens, whatever it is, into the lab, and I get the test results. Now, I was putting together packages of data. Here's all this stuff, and going over it with them on the phone, with a spouse listening in on the back landline. And so nowadays is just think, high tech to me back then was pagers,
was the phone,
pagers and fax machines.
Yeah,
that was high tech. But now with Zoom and with all these different things like what we're on right now, and so you can communicate with people over distances and get amazing results. We could have calls in all 50 states. As a matter of fact, we're in 50 countries.
Wow. So you had to be, if not the first, one of the first ones to really do this with the kits. Because I think now, what's the box for the colonoscopy? Even COVID, how during COVID, they were sending the test out.
Yeah.
But before COVID, you didn't really hear of that stuff.
Yeah.
So you had to be the first.
We're on the cutting edge. They call me, someone called me an OG, and I thought, what's that, old geezer, old guy? And they go, no, it means original gangster. Never a gangster, but I did help. I just think I listened to smart people in my heart, and there's probably some providential influence in there that just this is what I'm meant to do.
Right.
And so I do it. Yeah.
Something else, and this was in the introduction, and I've never heard this term, a nutritional therapist.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they've been around. I mean, it was a course.
Okay.
Remember I said that the owner of the clinic invited me to attend. She was getting her diplomate in nutrition, but as a layperson, I would get a certified nutritional therapist out of that same education. So she got the doctor version of it, and I got the CNT out of it.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's a common thing. CNTs are around, but the training wasn't good enough. Is my contention is that, that taught me how to use supplements instead of drugs. No, that's not a bad thing, but it doesn't. People would only stay on the supplements for a month or two. Either they got better and said, oh, good, I'm cured, which wasn't true, or they didn't work and they quit taking them. So no
Right.
matter what, that people just wouldn't take their supplements for very long. That's why the knowledge was great, but I had to develop the investigative system. What's really wrong? Because if you're just selling supplements based on what it sounds like you have a digestive problem. Here's some enzymes. Or it sounds like you have whatever it might be. Parasites. Here's some anti-parasite medication, whatever. So we hate the sounds like method. We use the sounds like method. Even if you're running labs based on the sounds like method. I can give you an example of a guy or gal, they go to the doctor and they complain of a few things. I can give you the cluster of symptoms, and it sounds like thyroid. It's very, very common. There's 30, 40 million people in the United States on thyroid medication. And they went into the doctor and it sounded like thyroid. Sounds like thyroid. And so the doctor will test the thyroid. Yep. I always tell them, don't hurt your wrist patting yourself on the back.
Yeah.
Because even though they do have low thyroid, the question is why. And so if all you're doing is running a test based on what it sounds like and then treating the paper, they'll say, oh, yep, your thyroid's low. Here's some thyroid. Here's something in a bottle, some agent to raise the test results or lower the test results, depending on what the analyte is. And so that's treating the paper. I couldn't write a prescription, and supplements just don't work as well sometimes.
Yeah.
Or you got to take too many of them forever and the whole thing. So it had to be two things. One is what's really wrong. The thyroid is low for a reason. Always a reason. Your digestion is bad for a reason. So I was more like, what's the real reason? So this opens up a whole, you got to look at HIDDE. You got to look at all of the hormone immune digestion. Most people are trained to look at one thing. There's your endocrinologist, hormones. There's your immunologist, whatever you have. So I had to learn to look at it all because I can't diagnose anything. And if you can't diagnose anything, you can't treat anything either. It's not appropriate for a non-physician to say, yeah, I'm treating this lady for irritable bowel,
Right.
So we treat the whole person. Partly that's where the CNT comes in, is it's very safe and holistic in nature. But I took that to a whole new level. That just wasn't good enough. So that double board certified thing, the holistic health practitioner, yeah, I have that too from the American Association of Drugless Practitioners. I have 15 certificates. None of them mean anything compared to FTN certificate that I created. They're not even close. I have to say that. They're not even close. So our certification program actually prepares a person who A, has to really want to help others, and B, be able to take, a post-grad level course. Like it's like master's and PhD type work. It's not screwing around with vitamin C does this. And, everyone knows diet, rest, and exercise. But it's the lab direction that you get from the HIDDE, the hidden investigation. That's what allows you to present a lifestyle program that's going to change that person. It's going to have an effect beyond diet, rest, and exercise.
How long do the courses actually take?
I can teach a person in about 10 months what it took me 10 years to develop.
Really?
Yeah, and some people go through faster. Some life happens and they need a little more time.
Right.
But I can honestly say that within 10 months, 8 to 10 months, you could be fully trained in how to do FDN. It's a way of thinking, and it's labs to use and the protocols to recommend. And we even have coaching skills in the course, as well as some business skills on how to, if you wanted to have your own business as an FDN practitioner.
You're listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. We'll be right back. Are you pre-diabetic or know someone who is? I recently discovered I'm pre-diabetic. My A1C was at 5.9. And I've signed up for the Harford County Health Department's Diabetes Prevention Program. This free 12-month program is designed to help you lose weight, eat healthier, manage stress, and increase physical activity. It's an incredible opportunity to develop lifelong healthy habits and reduce your risk of developing diabetes. For more information or to sign up, just go to harfordcountyhealth.com/diabetes-prevention. Don't wait. Take control of your health today.
And there's lots of post-grad too. Remember what I said? The first 20 people that take my first course wouldn't go away. And so there's a post-grad alumni now. I have 1,200 dues-paying members, and so now you have peer support, and you have this entire group. There's another couple thousand that are out there doing something productive, but no professional members. So we can teach you the whole thing in about 10 months. If it took you a year, trust me, it's going to cost you a fraction of what going to college. Like these people say, well, I'm going to become a naturopathic practitioner. Minimum 2 years after your 4-year degree for probably 25. And there's 3-year programs that are 60 grand. Mine's less than 10 grand and what you can do in 10 months, because it's all practical. There's nothing theoretical. There's some methodology, which has theory mixed in, but it's like how to apply it, how to use it with every person that you take on as a client. So now for your listeners, our listeners today, they might not have any interest in becoming an FDN practitioner, and that's fine. But you can go talk to an FDN practitioner for your own health, because I have 1,200 of them who are ready, willing, and able to serve. And if you are interested in the course, well, that stuff's all there too. But for your average listener, they just want to have more energy, lose a few pounds, have clearer thinking, improve their memory, and other physical activities. Quit hurting so much. If there's something about the way something about the way you feel or look that you don't like, you're an FDN candidate. Something about the way you feel or look. Some people say, "Oh, I feel fine. I look all right." Well, how's your energy? Well, that's not so good. Well, then they're not even thinking. People get thinking, and you know this. They get thinking it's normal to feel like crap and not be living a full life. That's unfortunate, isn't it?
It's very unfortunate. I mean, you never know how long we have here on this planet. So,
amen.
Live it to the fullest, man.
Yeah. Tomorrow's promised to nobody.
Enjoy it.
Yeah.
One of the things I do want to ask you about the DRESS acronym.
Yeah.
Because we talk about this a lot. And when I got into the IT field, they brought somebody in to help with this, and I laughed because I was like, okay, I'm was in the Marines, and you're bringing somebody in to relieve stress for people working on computers. So how do you reduce stress?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. And there's so many kinds that we help. What we say is, let's sort it out. We'll sort out the types of stress. Now, just knowing this, that some stress is mental, emotional. It's your job, it's your finances, it's your relationships. When I say stress, I often joke around, like, you ever heard this word before, stress? And people are like, oh yeah, I got stressed. But there's so many types. So what about chemical stressors?
Oh,
remember, I came from environmental law. I know what's out there. So we just put chemical stress, which is all the stuff that's in our food and in our air and in our things we drink and on and on. It's on the ground. It's everywhere. I caught some son of a gun spraying some weeds over here outside my property, and I went right up to him and said, "What is that you're spraying? I need to know. Is it glyphosate? Or is it what is it?" I noticed that there was less fish in my pond after he did it, and less fish in my pond means that there was less birds. coming by to eat the fish. I just right before the show, I saw an osprey go down, get a nice fish, and fly off with it. Right in front of me. So I care about these things, and I know it can go off on tangents, but the idea is that stress is not just mental, emotional, which we often, again, the effects on the body are not good. I could tell you exactly what to measure, how to measure your stress levels, and all these kinds of things. What it does to your hormones, immune system, and all things, digestion, of course, and all kinds of other things. So this idea of stress needs to be sorted out. In 2001, I read an article that it was the cause of 80% of all doctors' visits, and the actual cause of 50% of all disease. So I knew 25 years ago, I had to become an expert in stress. So you asked me a dangerous question because I could talk for 6 hours about stress.
Right.
So the idea is that there's mental, emotional, there's chemical, which is the environment and all the different things we're subjected to. There's a lot of mysterious hidden stressors, electromagnetic frequencies and microwaves and all kinds of things. But there's another kind too that actually would be my stressor, and it's pain from sports injuries. I did kickboxing and jujitsu. I did
Really?
Oh yeah, all kinds of things. I did everything except for that cordless bungee jumping. Now that's one thing I never tried. But cliff diving and stuff. And so I have stuff. I've never broken a bone, but I've torn ligaments and muscles and all kinds of things. I have a military neck myself from surfing, going into the sand, falling off the board and stuff. And so, there's the mental, emotional, there's the chemical, and then there's this physical trauma. And that's the kind of stress. And the reason I put them together into one category, stress reduction, is because it makes a really nice acronym. DRESS. Stress reduction. No, I'm kidding. No, because it's and listen, but there's even crossover. Like, if you're sensitive to certain foods, that's stressful. It's a form of stress. And here's the common denominator, which I think is what you want me to explain. Stress raises your cortisol level. And your body doesn't know. The reaction is the same, regardless of the kind of stress, whether it's mental, emotional, physical pain and trauma, or chemical. It stimulates your cortisol because that's the stress hormone. And if that just happened, it was just a guy cutting you off in traffic. You go, whoa, and you yell at him or say some bad words, but then it's over. Right. So your body's and your cortisol went up, your adrenaline went up, and your body was physically prepared, kind of in a fight flight kind of a thing. But if it's like for 5 minutes, who cares? The problem is it's no longer just a temporary, it's like constant, and to the point where you don't even know that you're stressed out. You hate your job, you're not getting along with the spouse, and you got other problems. Kids and things like that. And I raised a bunch of them, so I know. And I coach football, so youth football, dealing with the parents.
Oh my God, yes.
So I know it stresses, and it's so constant. And plus, add in a few aches and pains. Add in the fact that your food's full of toxins and chemicals and poisons and things if you're not careful. And so you've got constant stress. So this chronicity of stress breaks the body down. And I can show you how the dominoes fall on the paper. Stress, cortisol to DHA ratio. Oh, that's bad. Then so your body's catabolic. Your body's actually breaking down. You're aging before your time. Even, it doesn't matter if you're 20 or 60. It affects everyone the same way, whatever the kind of the stress is. So you ask the question, what's stress reduction? DRESS. That's a big one. And it could also be parasites, bacteria, funguses, viruses. It could also be, again, these food sensitivities.
Practically anything,
Tests for all that. We run tests and sort out, the stress, and then teach people how to reduce it. Exposure is one thing. There's other ways to mitigate against what you cannot avoid, like certain things in the environment. Some people are just trapped where they are, and you can reduce and even eliminate some stressors. The last one I'll mention, just because it's a favorite of mine, is psychospiritual stress, which I believe is not having a purpose in your life. Yeah, people do.
Oh,
that.
wow.
So listen, not having a purpose in life is actually stressful, because we're designed perfectly to have a purpose and want to have something that we love doing that's good for the planet.
Yeah.
Me, I was a Boy Scout. I got taught to walk little old ladies across the street, whether they wanted to go or not. Hey, you're going to no, I grew up in Canada shoveling the neighbor's driveway,
Yeah.
and raking their leaves for them without ever wanting anything in return.
Same way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like we have this do-gooder instinct.
Yeah.
And that's a form of, I call it psychospiritual, relief. It feels good. And good happens to you when you do that. Now, if you don't have a purpose in life, you imagine getting up every day it's stressful, and you'll be in this state of fight flight, the stressful state, more than a person who has a purpose. You get up every day, you know exactly what you're about, where you're going, what you're doing, and it feels good to just be working doing it.
Wow. And the one thing, when it came to stress, and you said the food stress, the first thing I thought of was a lot of these people with like peanut allergies, dough allergies, and all that.
Yeah,
that's got to be stressful as hell on them.
Oh, totally! It can kill you, and a shock is deadly. So that's a form of stress, isn't it?
Yeah, and you can go somewhere and unless you ask what it's served with, you don't know.
There's
what it's made with.
Well, I'll give your audience or our listeners a tip, because you struck another great. I love talking about stress reduction. Anyone in this address, it's only 5-step protocol, but on the finding the right foods and not being stressed out by your food. It's so we run a test. We find out what you're sensitive to. Because if you have a peanut allergy or shrimp allergy and you could possibly go into, they call it anaphylactic shock. It's such a shock to your system, it can kill you. At least you're going to get some serious symptoms. You're going to get the hives all over your body. You're going to throw up, whatever it is, diarrhea. A lot of things happen from eating the wrong foods. If you have it's called an IgE allergy. Those are easy. You already know what those are. What's insidious, what we look for, are the hidden stressors. They're very mild sensitivities, and they're not mediated by that part of the immune system. There's other things that happen in the body. I don't want to go too deep in the science and put you to sleep, but it's really interesting how you could have a sensitivity. It's a non-allergic, non-allergy sensitivity to almost anything. And they get worse, the worse shape that your gut, your stomach, and your intestines are in. And so some people, when I test them, we test for 176 foods. Now,
wow.
Yeah. No one eats that many foods. You might eat probably 30 different foods. If you really look at your entire, maybe 30, that'd be pretty diverse diet. Some people eat 9 different foods. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not good. But the idea is that if you're hyper allergic, you're going to know what that is. Strawberries. Oh, I can't eat. You said peanuts, and that's a common one. Other people, it's eggs, believe it or not. Well, the most common food sensitivities is eggs, corn, soy, dairy, and wheat. Eggs, soy, corn, dairy, and the gliadin molecule, which is in meat. So, gluten, basically. So those are most common. And they're not necessarily allergies. They're stimulating a different part of your immune system that releases mediators from the blood cells into the body, and they create problems. And they trigger things like migraine headaches or hives or, diarrhea or, all these things. But they're not allergies. And so
I didn't realize that.
I call them sensitivities. That's what we call them. And there's lots of ways to measure it. I think I use the best test there is. And it's for 176 foods. And if you're sensitive to 3 or 4 foods, it's easy. Cut them out. Don't eat them for 3 months. You'll be fine. Remember, you're getting the green. That means everything else is on the green list. We call it the red list. So, but what if you're sensitive? I've had people sensitive to 50 different foods.
Good Lord.
So what's wrong with them? Like, hey, it's never just, it's always there's something else in the mix. That's why we call what's wrong, metabolic chaos. They've got problems in their immune system, in their digestion, in their detoxification systems. We can spend a whole show just on the liver and the kidneys and the other detoxifying organs. This so
Yeah.
this idea. Yeah. So, now those are really sick people, and they can, some of those allergies sensitivities will dissipate. They'll go down. You eliminate the food, you heal the gut, you balance your hormones, you get the immune system back up to not over or under reactive, and you can get, detoxification has to be cleared up. While we're at it, the way you produce energy in cells and your nervous system also have to be balanced. And it sounds like a mouthful. What I hope it doesn't sound crazy, because if I'm nothing else, I'm a good organizer. So I took all of this 10 years of research and organized it into, here's what you look for. We're not trying to medically diagnose anything. We're looking for what's wrong, HIDDE. And then here's how you live yourself out of it, DRESS. So it's very organized. It's easy to duplicate. And that's why I can teach it.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Something else very important, and I think this is something that, I know this is something that a lot of people have problems with, and that's the rest part. What are some tips you have for better sleep?
Well, sleep's part of rest, first of all.
Right. Well, yeah.
So sleeping is really important, and you do a lot of your healing and think both mentally and physically while you're asleep. So you need to get a combination of what they call REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep. You're dreaming. It's kind of like you're not really deep sleep.
Okay.
You need a combination of that so your mind can work through some stuff, but also you need deep sleep. We call it like non-REM levels 1, 2, 3. Used to be 5 levels. They changed it to 3.
Oh, wow.
And that's the waves that are going on in your brain. So there's sleep, and then there's rest, which I find I could do almost any time. Before this call, I went and just hugged my wife, and we just sat there for a few minutes, kind of resting our thoughts and being on purpose and stuff like that. We got 7 people coming in from her family next week, and that's going to be fun. And we just said, hey, look, it's going to get really crowded around here, and we're going to be all sort of stressed out with family. But just remember, we have each other. We're going to be able to. So we do this rest, emotional rest during the day. So, but having said that, now sleep's also a very important form of rest, and the 3 critical things would be your breathing, keeping your feet warm, and also, believe it or not, the tongue and the mouth, just stay relaxed. People, they sleep like this, their clenched teeth, and they just, so if you would just breathe, and the simple trick is make your exhale longer than your inhale.
Longer?
Yeah, so all you got to do, now this stimulates this parasympathetic nervous system. So this is scientific. It's not some wacky Chinese sleep method. It's
right.
It's so you can lay down, make sure your feet are loose and kind of warm. You can even sort of focus on them a little bit while you remember to relax your tongue and your mouth. I know it sounds weird, but then start focusing on your breathing, and you'll find yourself going, like in, out, in, out. Just get a regular pattern going. And then one little trick, count the in, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever number you get to. And then just make the exhale a little bit longer. So if it's in 1, 2, 3, make it go out 1, 2, 3, 4. Even if you aren't exhaling, you're just not breathing back in yet.
Yeah.
By a second or one count, or if you can go two, good. But just make your exhale a little bit longer than your inhale while you're thinking about your feet, making sure they're not cold. Like wear socks to bed.
Wait, what?
Yeah, wear socks to bed. Now you're going to end up peeling them off, and they'll be caught in the end of the bed, because that happens to me all the time. But keep your feet warm. You can have a cool room. The room should be cool, but your feet should be warm. Weird thing. I said 3 tips. The breathing is the most critical, but relaxing the tongue and relaxing the feet and keeping them warm is also a sure way to fall asleep. Now, once you fall asleep, that's the important thing. Your head should hit the pillow. You get into this little routine. There's all this sleep hygiene. No electromagnetic frequencies. Leave your cell phone in a different room. No TV on. No blue light. Dark as heck. Make it real dark. Even get one of those masks. I have them all over, and I take one with me when I travel. So darkness. That's sleep hygiene. So the 3 main things, as I gave you, the breathing, the tongue, and the feet. But there's other stuff. And then you should hit the bed. You should be tired. You should have worked hard or played hard, or both. But
exercise.
Work hard, play hard. Yeah, I love to say what my dad told me. He says, early to bed, early to rise, work like hell and advertise.
I like that.
Yeah. But back to the real deal here. It's not only falling asleep. Like falling asleep for some people is a problem.
Yeah.
Staying asleep is also important. And so you'll find that if you get into you got to go to bed on time and get into a pattern. Like, I can go to bed at 8:39. If I get up at 3:30 or 4, I actually feel really good. I can't go back to sleep, and it's the perfect time of day because there's no one bothering you, and I can write a blog, or I can do some research or something like that. And then at, maybe 6 o'clock, I can go to the gym, do a little weightlifting, stuff like that. Not a lot. Again, I got injuries and other excuses, but, so yeah. And then you're back to bed at a time when you've done something, you've accomplished something, you've served some kind of purpose during the day. It's much easier to fall asleep if you add in these little breathing and other tricks.
I see, and I was always exhaling for as long as I inhaled. I'm going to add that extra second.
You'll fall asleep faster.
And the socks part, oh my God, I have to convince my wife to wear the socks to bed because them cold ass feet, when she puts them on.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, but she might be fine. She might say, I fall asleep fine with cold feet. Who knows? But I'm just saying, if someone's having trouble, it's something to check. You don't have to wear socks, but your feet, if you're having trouble and your feet are cold, it only makes sense to warm them up. And that could be just putting them on you, but and maybe you warm her feet up for her, and then she's able to chill out, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, you asked me about sleep. The diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, supplementation, they're all really critical. And I'll just go really fast here on so we said diet. I use a special system to find out the exact right ratio of carbs, fats, and proteins. So that's how you eat. You eat the right ratio of proteins, fats, and carbs at every meal. You never do too much protein, too much fat, or too much carbs. People are obviously eating a lot of carbs, right?
Yeah.
Processed food and all kinds of garbage is not good for you. There's no food that's good for everybody, but there are foods that are bad for everybody. And you know what they are already from other guests, So there's no, because you could say, well, asparagus, that's good for everybody. No, I've seen
Not
people,
for everybody.
and that's what came up on their food sensitivity test. And also people that don't have certain genes, they can't break down asparagus, and it makes their pieces all funny and stuff. So you can't say there's a food that's good for every person on the planet. you can only say there's food that's bad for every person on the planet, like sugar and these chemical things, processed foods, and none of that's good for anybody. So diet and then rest. We talked a lot about here just now. The exercise part has to be customized too. Like I did judo and kick. I haven't been to the gym and the judo gym in 10 years because I kept getting hurt. I'm 72. And there's 72-year-olds that roll around on the mat, but I'm not one of them anymore because it just kept hurting me. I'm a big guy, and the teacher would be like, "Just let her throw you." Just let her throw you. I could stop her. Like, there's no way she's gonna throw me, right? Just let her throw you, and like, oh my back, like this. So look, I had when I had the clinic, there's chiropractors there, and this trainer down the street at a women's only gym kept referring people to us. Like every week or 2 weeks, at least 2 or 3 people a month, she's sending over to the chiropractic office. We fix them up. And one day she asked me, "Don't you like all these clients and patients I'm sending you?" I said, "You know what? It's good for us, but it's not good for them. You're hurting these people. Why are you hurting your clients? And you need to send them to a chiropractic office." That's just doesn't even make sense to me. There's something not right here with this picture. And she thought about it, goes, "Well, I just work them out really hard." I go, "Well, you're working them out too hard."
Yeah.
So diet, rest, exercise needs to be customized, needs to be what that person can handle and not over and above what they can handle, things like that. There's a lot about it. And I also became a personal trainer back in the day. I've not kept my certification up. I just don't care about it enough. But as far as that goes, I know much better certified trainers, and I have them.
Right.
So, and then the stress reduction, so diet, rest, exercise, stress reduction, we talked a lot about. And the supplements was the last thing. I'll just say that they're really important, and because of how poor the quality of food is today.
Yes.
We're required genetically as humans to have all kinds of vitamins and minerals, essential fatty acids, antioxidants, trace elements, phytonutrients, and we're supposed to get it from food, but we don't because it's not in the food. So you supplement to make up the difference. What's, again, vitamins, minerals, essential fatty acids, antioxidants, trace elements, phytonutrients. Where are you going to get all that you're genetically, to be perfect 100% function, to be really, really healthy, that's how we're designed. And we used to get it from our native diets 500 generations ago, but we don't anymore. So you supplement. And they could also be used for, support of weak areas like digestion or the adrenals or whatever it is. And so we have, again, we collect data, match it up with a person, and then customize the DRESS program. And I've been teaching people to do that since 2008 after spending 10 years in an office figuring it out.
Well, there's something very important. How do people get in touch with you so they can get that done?
Well, you see this FDN here, Functional Diagnostic Nutrition. There's a website by that name, but fdntraining.com/Rich Bennett will actually get them a free copy of that dress manual that you talked about.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
So if our listeners today want a free copy of the Dress for Health Success guidebook, go to fdntraining.com/Rich Bennett, and that's what we have waiting for them there.
Nice. Well, before I get to my last question, is there anything you would like to add besides the fact that you got to feed the gator?
Yeah, I call her Gertie the Gator. I don't even know if it's a girl, but I just figured that sounds good. Gertie the Gator. And I think I'll just go back to one point I made about having purpose in life and having we call it psycho-spiritual stress because you're not happy and get a purpose in life.
Yeah.
Just go feed the hungry or something silly like shovel the neighbor's snow or anything useful. You could also make money doing it. That's the amazing thing. It doesn't have to be charitable all the time. Just find something you love doing that serves a purpose in life, and don't be just a consumer. So I'll go back to that point I made. My wife and I have a routine to make sure we're on purpose and that we're doing, the will of not necessarily us all the time.
It feels good.
Yeah, it feels good. Well, you have one, obviously, Rich, and you're doing good work here with the people, and you served in the military. I didn't get that privilege, Your Honor. It was when I was eligible. Was the Vietnam War, and
oh yeah,
and that was something that you didn't just volunteer for very much.
No,
no, yeah, you might have. I don't know. You're probably a little younger than me.
Yeah, I'm 62. Wait a minute, is that right? Yeah, 62. I had to think for a minute.
Yeah, so you were out of the. Yeah, I was eligible for the draft, and I just got lucky and didn't get picked. But yeah, I was A1 for 3 years, and back then they had a lottery, so they didn't pick me for some reason, just lucky. But yeah, that was. So I didn't get to be in the military. Nowadays, I love the military.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's changed a lot.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot. Back and forth. It's like a yo-yo. Anyway, so Reed, I need you to pick a number between 1 and 100.
Okay.
And you got to tell me, of course.
All right. 9.
Number 9. All right. This is going to be the last question. Number 9. Okay, now I'm going to have that song in my head. What is an aha moment you've had that shifted your perspective on something important?
Yeah. Well, I mentioned this fella dying that everyone said he was perfectly healthy. That was an aha moment. Yeah. I mean, I off the top of my head, that occurs to me. I know there's been hundreds of others. You pretty much probably should have one every day. Aha.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good idea. Everybody should have an aha moment every day.
Yeah, just what'd you learn today? My dad used to ask us, my brother and sister and I, what'd you learn today? Not what you do, not what, how's it going, but what'd you learn today? And we would go, or we had to think of stuff, like, well, I learned that whatever it is, the cat doesn't like being spun around by its tail. I'm kidding. I never did that. But, you think of something, right? Because your dad's putting you on the spot.
Okay, you just brought back memories of my older brother. But oh, God. Reed, I want to thank you so much. Hey, and I'm ready to do a 6-hour one on the science and everything else because I could sit. I just love learning about the stuff. So.
Just schedule it, and I'll be there.
All right, sounds good. Thanks a lot. Thank you for listening to Conversations with Rich Bennett. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something from it as I did. If you'd like to hear more conversations like this, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you have a moment, I'd love it if you could leave a review. It helps us reach more listeners and share more incredible stories. Don't forget to connect with us on social media or visit our website at conversationswithrichbennett.com for updates, giveaways, and more. Until next time, take care, be kind, and keep the conversations going. It takes a lot to put a podcast together, and my sponsors help out a lot, but I also have some supporters that actually help me when it comes to the editing software, the hosting, and so forth. There's a lot that goes into putting this together. So I want to thank them. And if you can, please visit their websites, visit their businesses, support them however you can. So please visit the following. Full Circle Boards. Nobody does charcuterie like Full Circle Boards. Visit them at fullcircleboards.com. Sincerely Sawyer Photography. Live in the moment. They'll capture it. Visit them at sincerelysawyer.com. The Joppatown Lions Club, serving the community since 1965. Visit them at joppatownlionsclub.org. And don't forget the E at the end of Joppatown, because they're extraordinary.